All right, so wanted to share a lesson that I keep having to kind of reteach myself, keep relearning over and over again. And I thought it might be a valuable lesson to share with you. So you probably don't know this because I didn't post the actual video for this yet. I'll probably put some footage here in this video, maybe in like a second or so. But anyway, for Productivity Accelerator, as I've talked about on this channel, and if you're on my other channel, you may have seen me talk about it as well. The main goal this year is me like really going deep on trying to grow the business as quickly as I can. Anyway, started doing this brand new campaign where I wrote a book recently, and the idea behind the campaign was to go out, go to my target audience, my target avatar with the book and with some additional information, bit of a call to action, do some kind of in-person marketing and see what the results are. Did that for about 2 weeks, and I sat there and thought to myself, I haven't gotten any calls back from this new marketing campaign. Is it a flop? Is it unsuccessful? Is it stupid? Am I doing something wrong? So I started kind of getting in my head about the actual tactic that I had in mind. And it reminded me of something. I'm being impatient because it was making me unhappy, this idea that no one was reaching out, or that no one was, I guess, acknowledging the book that I wrote for them. No one was acknowledging the extra material that I made specifically for them. And obviously I think the material was fantastic, but they didn't think it was fantastic. And the idea of that was making me unhappy. And this is a lesson I've learned kind of like years ago. It's good to manage your expectations if you want to be happy. I always think that one of the reasons why probably the main reason why people are unhappy is because they have false expectations. And if you can manage your expectations effectively, then you will find more happiness. And this came up again a couple days ago, actually, with my wife. My wife is a teacher. She's been trying to kind of excel in her career, a combination of excel in her career and grow her own business, where she teaches students how to speak English. She teaches Brazilian people, Portuguese speakers, how to speak English. And she was kind of doing her own campaigns. She's been posting to TikTok a lot more frequently, trying to grow her business that way, get some more leads that way. And she has been seeing progress. She has been making more sales when it comes to her books. She has been getting more clients, but she's not getting clients as fast as she wants. She's not getting the success as quickly as she wants. And same with her personal career. She has been seeing improvements, but she hasn't been seeing the improvements that she wants as quickly as she wants. And so we were having a conversation, and she was trying to get my opinion on, whether or not she's growing as quickly as she is, or whether or not she should pivot to a different career or a different job or all that good stuff. And I said to her, I think everything you're doing is perfectly fine, but I think the problem could be your expectations. You might think that you're going to get to this position, or you might get these sales in like a year, but you've just gotten started. It might take you more time to get the things you want. And I say this because, like I said, this is something that I forget often myself. I've been trying for 2 weeks to do this new campaign, and I've not seen progress or results. But my expectation is that I should have seen progress or results immediately. And that's where the issue is. When in reality, perhaps for this marketing campaign, it might take me 3 months, 6 months, maybe a whole year of just doing this one specific marketing campaign to see any tangible, realistic results. Especially when you consider that I gave people like a book and some extra material. Maybe they're going to sit there and actually read the entire book before they take any action. That's actually perfectly fine. That's ideal. Most people probably aren't going to read the book in like a single day. It's perfectly fine. But the purpose behind this video, and the thing that I want to share with you, is if you're feeling any type of unhappiness, understand that it could just be because of your expectations. I know a lot of times, and this has also been something that I've been guilty of when I was younger, you see people online and they have certain lifestyles. You see people who are like 24, for example, 23, 20 years old, and you're a bit older, and you see that they have these like extravagant lifestyles. You see people traveling to Dubai. You see people traveling to Rome, to Bali, to Greece, to Mykonos, whatever. They seem like they're always on vacation. And you think to yourself that you're a loser because you're not doing the exact same thing as them. You think to yourself, how are they so much further ahead than me? Because they're traveling and I'm unable to travel, or I don't have the means to travel. You feel bad about yourself. And then that makes you unhappy. It's kind of like this comparison is the thief of all joy mentality. But the problem is that, and this is kind of like the issue when it comes to this idea of comparison, when you compare yourself, it gives you false expectations in general. I think there's a healthy way to compare yourself where you compare yourself in a way that helps you grow. But I think in the grand scheme of things, in a general sense, when you compare yourself, it gives you a certain expectation of what's reality. And the problem is that you don't really understand what true reality is. I don't understand what true reality is. You don't understand what true reality is because a lot of people simply lie. A lot of people paint a false picture of their lifestyles. They paint a false picture of who they are. So you don't understand, perhaps, that person that's traveling probably inherited money from their parents, and maybe they won't even tell you that they inherited money because maybe they don't want you to know. Maybe they want you to think that they've earned it themselves. Or you don't know that person who's younger than you, or maybe not as intelligent as you, but somehow managed to land a much better quality job at a much larger company, maybe at a Fortune 500, Fortune 100 company, whatever. You don't understand, or you don't know that their entire family is like the CEO, the CTO, whatever of this company. So of course he would get hired, or of course she would get hired. It was easy for them because their family owns the company. Yours does not. You don't understand these things. And so you paint this false expectation of what reality truly is. You assume things that are not true, and the assumptions are what make you unhappy. And so I think it's a lesson that's worth repeating and relearning consistently. Like I said, I'm making this video because it's a lesson that I keep having to relearn. Like, I understand it, I can comprehend it, but I keep falling into that same trap where I do something and I start thinking about what I believe should be the outcome, instead of acknowledging that I could just be incorrect on what I believe should be the outcome, due to me like comparing myself to other people or having a false expectation. And that false expectation is what leads to me being unhappy. So I can just be happy by having a better, more realistic sense of what is correct or what's not correct. Does that make sense? I say this a lot too because sometimes you see, I think the internet, I'll say this, I think the internet's provided a lot of good opportunities, but I think life's full of trade-offs. I think one of the trade-offs of the internet is that it's also been a bit devastating for a lot of people. It's been devastating when it comes to our mental health. It's been devastating when it comes to our ability to bond, our ability to engage with others, our ability to interact with others and be more social. It's impacted a lot of things in a negative way. The downside with the internet is that it's created a lot of people whose sole goal is to simply lie for profit, or simply lie for the sake of status, which I think is also kind of tied to profit too. But there's a lot of lying that goes on. And I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying that lying in itself is a bad thing. I don't know if you want to go deep into the morality of lying for the sake of profit. I feel like you can spin it a million different ways. I can see the argument of someone saying, well, I lied because I wanted to benefit my family. Like, my family was poor. I lied so that way they can all be rich. We could all be rich together. We could have a happy life. Sure, I can hear that argument out. I can also hear the argument out where lying causes these false expectations, which overall hurt people, which, is disastrous for society, leads to the decadence of society. I could hear that argument as well. I think both are viable arguments. So I don't know if this is all like good or bad, right is wrong. I don't know if I even believe in the whole idea of like good and bad or right is wrong in the grand sense of things. But this is certainly a con, I think, on the individual level. This idea of comparing yourself to other people who are just lying to you and really mentally abusing yourself for really no reason, because like I said, they're lying. So there's really no reason to do this. One final conversation, just to kind of wrap things up in this video so I'm not like rambling too long. I remember, again, talking to my wife about this. We were talking about like the idea of being like a millionaire, the idea of having lots of money. And this is something that when I was younger was a big goal of mine, but over the years it's become less of a goal of mine, partially because I don't care. Like, the idea of being a millionaire, I think it's a goal that society implants in you. I think if you were to ask most people to take an hour and think about all the things they want in life, and to actually rationalize and do the math, do the calculations on how much those things they want in life actually cost. And we're talking about like based on the activity or based on the thing they want, like do the math on a yearly basis or expand it to like a lifelong basis. Like if you're someone that wants to take 3 vacations per year to a very specific place, do the math on how much that will cost per year and how much that will cost in the grand scheme of your life over the next like 50 years or so. And I think for most people, what they'll find is that they don't need to be a millionaire to do that. They really just need more time and maybe a little bit more money. I heard someone say that if you make about $7,000 to $10,000 a month, you could probably buy most of the things you want out of life. And I 1000% believe that to be true. I think you can probably do that. Most people. There are probably some people who are like hyper ambitious who want way more things out of life, but I think that's certainly true. But we were talking about this idea of like being a millionaire, all that stuff. And I said to her, why do you want that to be your goal? Like, what exactly makes you want to be a millionaire? And she didn't really give me a good answer. I think we didn't go super deep into it. But there was a bit of stress that I detected from her not having the amount of money that she wanted. And for the record, we're doing quite well for ourselves. Like, we're actually in a great financial position overall. We're sitting there talking about that as well, how a lot of people are struggling. And I won't say it's been easy for us, but it hasn't been like, we're not devastated by any means. So I think compared to most people, we're actually much better off, especially considering we live in like the richest county in the country. I think we're doing pretty good for ourselves. But there's that sense of expectation. It's like, oh yeah, why am I not like a millionaire by the age of like 24? I see all the other people online who are millionaires by the age of like 21. I should at least be a millionaire by 24. I'm definitely more competent than they are. I'm definitely smarter than they are. But it's a false sense of comparison because those people are lying. Or if they're not lying, a lot of people get lucky. And people don't like me saying that people get lucky, but I certainly think that there's a lot of luck involved to making money early on. Either they got lucky. There are some people who are outliers who just worked really hard, picked the right vehicle to work in, certainly earned it. No shame in that, no harm in that. And there are people who worked much longer than they let on, or you just don't know how long they've been working or how hard they work. There have been people who are millionaires by 24, who did earn it, who did work hard, who maybe it was a little bit of luck, but it was mostly just like hard work. And the thing you don't know, again, false comparisons, is that they've been working since they were like 11, because maybe they had to work since they were 11, or maybe they stumbled upon this idea when they were younger and it worked out well for them. Something, I don't know, who knows? You know, I've seen cases like that. But the point is, you got to be careful with the comparisons, and you got to manage your expectations effectively. Because if you have false expectations, that's what leads to you being unhappy. That's what leads to you overall becoming depressed. That's what leads to you getting burnt out. That's what leads to you just not wanting to succeed because you feel like success isn't possible. Be careful of that. So that's kind of the lesson that I want to share with you. Again, a lesson that I keep relearning myself, this whole idea of not comparing yourself too closely to other people, and understanding that your happiness is based on your expectations, and your expectations are 1000% within your control. Hope this video helped. If it did, leave a like down below, leave a comment if you agree or disagree, and hope to see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.